So go with the questions there. Alessandro Pitti, an absolute dynamite yesterday. Just to, if you weren't with us yesterday, poor on the hill and found himself 2 minutes and 47 seconds down in 38th place. And came home, as he said, in 5th place. He was by far the fastest racer. 26 minutes, 23.1 seconds for the 10 kilometers. And that compares with 28 minutes and 2 seconds from Akito Watabe. And I think the great thing is that Alessandro Pitti is going to hopefully be one of the real stars and contenders in the overall Nordic Combined World Cup next season. So there we are on the big hill. The trial round, that finished a little earlier. I had some pretty good efforts. Jan Schmidt, 121.5 meters. Christophe Bieler, 127.5. Francois Brault, 124.5. And this was him a little earlier today. Of course, team gold medalist in the sprint with Jason Lamy-Chapuis. And pretty solid, not the best of landings, but it shows what good nick he's in. By contrast, the main absentee is Bernie Gruber from Austria, who after the World Championships had to go home. He got the sickness bug that was really running right through Falun by the end of the championship, and sadly not with us today. Now, here are the 19 partnerships. Now, one or two changes have been made. For example, let me give you the French. You can see Maxime Laheurte and Francois Brault. So it's not Jason Lamy-Chapuis, because Jason Lamy-Chapuis is now today partnered by Sébastien Lacroix. So they've mixed and matched a little bit to try and perhaps give a few more people an interesting run out today after yesterday's individual competition. So there are teams like Japan and France and Austria and Norway and Germany who've all essentially got two teams in today's team sprint competition. Now the way it works is that each member of each team takes one jump. You add those together, and from the points of the combined two, you convert that using the Gunderson equation of 2 seconds per point, or 30 points per minute, and then you get a time differential. Jason Lamy-Chapuis looking very studied there, and you can see Lahti's a bit grey today. It really is a little bit like Falun, to be honest. The humidity is high, the skies are overcast. It is dank and dreich, as they would say here, and the wind pretty quiet at the moment, and as long as it stays that way. It was predominantly a front wind, and I think that's what we're going to deal with here. So the calculation of our line, to remind you, is a little different at Lahti on the big hill. It's 116 meters, and the meter value, i.e. for a bonus beyond 116, is 1.5 points. If you drop short of that, then it's a deduction of 1.5 points per meter. So the first partnership is going to be for Finland, and it's going to be Leivi Mutru, who is partnered on the second leg by Matti Herola. Matti, who was 21st yesterday in the individual event, gate 13. And just looking at that, we started the trial round with 14 and then went to 13 to 11. So they've adjusted it here, the jury, and first to go. So no margins for error in a team event, and both men have to make it count. So here's the 19-year-old from his own home club on his own home hill. And not too bad. Short of the calculation line for sure. As you can see, 109. And that leaves him 7 meters short of the calculation line. And what this is going to mean is a deduction in terms of distance points, of course, and also in terms of style. Style's not too bad, I would think, maybe 17s. Yeah, about that, and a little front wind there. -3 is equivalent to taking off a couple of meters. Now, representing the United States, this is Adam Loomis from Wisconsin. That's his home base. Skis a little split there, and the judges will notice that. Adams, 22, was in Falun for the World Championships. Got a place on the big hill there, but was outside the top 40. And has actually notched up some World Cup points this season in Chaunerve and in Sapporo and in Val di Fiemme. So it's been a progressive season in the sense that he's now got a World Cup ranking. So the Americans, of course, with potentially in a year or two's time a very strong team again. They're just short of 1 or 2 men to come up to the mark. So front wind, you can see from the little graphic there for the experienced Lucas Rungaldier. Lucas partnered by Samuel Costa, and it was Sam Costa and Alessandro Pittin who were 5th in the World Championship team sprint. Just a reminder, of course, that France with François Brault and Jason Lamy-Chapuis last week in the 4th and last gold medal opportunity for the combiners. They took the gold from Erik Frenzel and Johannes Ridsek for Germany. The bronze went to Norway, Magnus Moen and Horvath Clemensen. 4th place was Finland, and that was good. Ilkka Herrala and Jim Hertul. And in 5th place, Italy, ahead of Japan. So this is effectively Japan 2, Hideaki Nagai. Good little bit of aggression there from Nagai, and he's not far off the calculation line. Could easily take the lead here. 111, so 5 meters off the lead. And not the flight phase was not particularly well worked there, so he's going to lose points in that regard. And you can see the wind there getting on for a 3 meter deduction. So next up, France 2, as you can see there, Maxime Laheurte, who will be partnered by the world champion François Brault. So this could be interesting. Laheurte. Well, that's much better than he did in the trial round, where he was only 103 meters down the hill. Now that was an improvement, 113, so that is a good start. He was individually 19th yesterday, so a long way back, but the transition was so much better. And you can see he's calmer, he's more relaxed. Skis could be a little bit more aerodynamic, and they weren't exactly parallel within the flight phase, but by 6 seconds, France 2 go into the lead and set the new pace. Philipp Orta next for Austria. Only 21 from Villach, Canton, southeast of the country. Member of the team that finished 5th in the World Championships, and that's a little bit back for Orta. Philipp, who is ranked outside the top 20 in a season which has seen 9 different winners when you include yesterday's victory by Akito Watabe. 2 more individual competitions to come, and although Erik Frenzel has wrapped up the title for 2015, he has a 228-point lead over Akito Watabe in 2nd place, with just the events in Trondheim and Oslo to come. There's only 40 points separating the next 4 athletes. And Jan Schmidt, well, maybe not a textbook landing, but the distance there, Schmidt 121.5 meters in trial, 124.5 meters when it matters most, and real power and aggression for Jan. One of the more experienced men in his early 30s now, Jan Schmidt. This year, runners-up spots in Sapporo, Val di Fiemme and Seefeld. Podiums also in Schönach and Lillehammer. It's been a decent season for him. He's ranked 6th overall and has a 22-second lead over all those who preceded him. And now Björn Kikaisen. By contrast, for me, Björn has had a disappointing season. He's ranked just outside the top 20. No podiums, no better than 6th in any individual competition. And short of bonus point territory there, Kikaisen, who's going to be partnered today by, I think it's Manuel Feist. Yes, it is Manuel Feist. So really needing a heck of a lot more meters than 111. Just basically not getting it right off the table. And Kikaisen hasn't had that sort of zest. He's the same age, actually, 31, as Jan Schmidt, who just preceded him. And in his career, he's notched up 16 victories, but plus 30 seconds, that doesn't make life easier. Estonia. Kyle Piho from Villa Village. Yeah, it was awfully tentative right the way through the exercise there, and this is already made a huge task for his partner Christian Ilves. Estonians were 11th in the World Championship in this particular discipline. And they don't have a huge reservoir of talent, so this particular competition, the team sprint, is somewhere where ultimately in a year or two's time they might begin to prosper, but the ski jumping phase has to be improved upon. Gaspar Berlo now for Slovenia. Berlo so far this season hasn't really set the world alight. The only thing one could say, as you see, a very disappointing 94 meters. Let's have a look at this. That was late off the table, and the good bit is the fact that he's ranked 35th, which is the highest he's ever been ranked in Nordic combined elite. But still, to break into the top 15 in any World Cup competition, and a minute 31 is already problematic. Jim Hertul, along with Ilkka Herola, 4th in the World Championships. That was a decent performance by him and his partner. They're split apart today. Difficult angle, actually, to be honest, to judge the transition. Differential in the skis during the flight phase. The back is okay, but the damage is done, really. That can't be much more than 16, surely. And 4.9, still predominantly a favourable front wind. Loses 3 meters because of that. And now Thomas Portik. Portik, progressive, 18 years of age, from Lomnice in the Czech Republic. And that's good. That is the sort of result we've been seeing from him. He's now over the calculation line by half a meter, so gets a little bit of distance bonus. Not quite as far in the trial round, I should say, but overall not bad. Now, where does this leave him? It leaves him 12 seconds down. So that's a pretty good effort there. And Portik, team 12, Miroslav Dvorak is his partner. And Dvorak, if he gets a good jump in, that's a decent cross-country combination. Portik and Dvorak, the World Championship pair who finished 8th in Falun. And in the air, Jasper Good for the United States. Getting experience. Yet another man from Steamboat Springs in his teens. Recently went to the Junior Worlds for America and finished just outside the top 20. But of course, the home of the likes of Todd Lodwick and the Fletcher brothers. And although they have these terrific facilities in Park City, still the spirit of Nordic Combined resides in Steamboat Springs these days. I'm in Bauer for Italy. Now Bauer, team 14, and he's partnered by Alessandro Pittin, the, well, cross-country's Superman of yesterday. Cut back an unbelievable disadvantage. And that's a little on the short side there for Bauer. He's been around in the Elite World Cup now for, what, 6 years? And that's given Pittin an awful task right away. It is quite staggering what Pittin does. Yesterday's 10-kilometre race, we normally think if you've got a deficit of, say, 1:45 and you're one of the top cross-country skiers, that you have a chance of really moving up through the ranks, and if you're really one of the best, maybe reaching the podium. But to cut back 2:47 and finish 5th in 10 kilometres was, well, the run of the season. Kato. Good by Kato, and he's partnered by Kito Watabe, the winner yesterday. Akito really strange. I mean, he sort of was saying to himself, why does it always take me so long? I feel in really good shape. And yet in the World Championships just a week ago, he had chances to medal, but couldn't take them. And another former Japanese athlete, Daiki Takahashi, he also favoured Lahti in his years. I can remember him doing the weekend double here. So just a few more to go in this first phase. And next up is going to be Sébastien Lacroix, who will jump and run with Jason Lamy-Chapuis and Lacroix. 107.5. And of course, as announced at Falun, exclusively to Eurosport, Jason Lamy-Chapuis is going to take his leave of Nordic Combined. It may be a sabbatical, it may be for all time, as he concentrates on qualifying for his pilot's license in Southampton. And that's going to concentrate his mind for the next 2 years, as we see Christoph Bieler. Now Bieler, pretty good, 127.5 from gate 14. This is gate 13. Bieler solid, aggressive, this is good, but not 127.5, but getting close to 120. 117, well, I was a little optimistic, but nonetheless 117. And let's just review the flight phase. Actually, this is subpar compared to his trial. Oh, and that's a poor telemark landing. That is going to knock him down to 16s. And 13 seconds off the lead at the moment. Magnus Krogh, good cross-country runner. and Magnus, fourth here yesterday. Not too far behind Fabian Riesel, but he was in third place. But this is already shaping up to be a fascinating cross-country race. 1 minute and 5. So Fabian Riesel to bring the first part of this Nordic combined jumping phase to a conclusion. Fabian in fourth or third equal place in the Wiesmann World Cup rankings for the season, and he's short of the calculation line as well, and frustrated. Front wind is still there, but a lot of them have struggled actually. Let's have a look. This is a slightly better angle. And only 108.5 meters. And Riesel, who'll run later today with Johannes Ridsek, silver medalist from the world, silver yesterday. So Germany with 30 seconds to fight. It's not desperate yet, but let's bring you the order at the halfway stage. So this is how they stand. Norway 113.1, and then the Czech Republic plus 12, Austria 1, 13 off, and Japan 1 just behind, and France 1 48 seconds off, and then Norway 1. So Norway 2, the leaders, as you can see, that's Jan Schmidt with 124.5 meters. Not the best of style, but effective enough. So 19 men to take their turns, and then we'll know where we stand for the team sprint cross country, 2 by 7.5 kilometers, which I'll just remind you, we have a really busy day with the Biathlon World Championships and alpine skiing from Garmisch-Partenkirchen, and plenty to look forward to. And we'll be showing the cross country race on Eurosport 2 at 1:15. That's 1:15 Central European time. Lahti, of course, now has effectively taken over the responsibility for preparing for the Nordic Ski World Championships of 2017. Always really important in that year being just the year before the Olympic Games. And it's going to be interesting to see what Lahti do, because in my mind, I think they won it quite controversially. I think, and it's only a personal opinion, that it would have been good to have gone to Slovenia to have broken new ground. But back to the present, and this is Matti Herola for Finland. Oh, in fact, well, it should have been Herola, and I'll just check. Yeah, that is Matti. Absolutely. So a little finger problem with the television graphics there, and this back view is not so easy to judge. The wider view, higher view, is a lot easier to judge in terms of the transition off the table. Matti from Kuopio, and that puts them 2 minutes and 9 seconds ahead of everybody at the moment. But of course, it's not until we get to the end that it's going to unfold. And yet another young American, so encouraging for the Americans. Done most of his work this season in what they call World Cup B, and well, Ben Berendt actually went to the World Championships in Falun, and that will have been good experience for him, just to see what happens and work out where everything is and how it works. And plus 232. Sam Costa now for Italy. Now Costa partnered by Lucas Rungaldier in the first leg, Lucas. So a lot on Sam Costa's shoulders, but this is an improving man. Apologies for not mentioning that we've gone down a gate to gate 12, but there are no gate deductions because we've changed it for the whole of this second round at the moment, or second leg I should say. Costa 100 metres, so disappointing for the man who partnered Alessandro Pittin into 5th place in the World Championships. Costa, 3 top 20 positions in the World Cup. And next up will be Takehiro Watanabe for Japan. That looked not too bad. And it's round about the calculation line, 116 metres or so. And 114 and a half. So for every one of those 1.5 metres, he loses 1.5 points. And a couple of 16 and a halves there from Bosian Ahasic from Slovenia and Johan Larsen from Norway, who are marking a little bit more strictly than the other style judges. And 58 seconds the lead for Japan 2 now. Well, Francois Brault with his one-way world gold medalist jumping suit on. Now, well, instability on the landing, absolutely, but again, 113 and a half. This is going to be a very open competition the way it's shaping up now, because the performances on the hill, I'll have to say, compared to one or two really good performances in the trial round, are not actually being achieved here, and 8 seconds down on the Finns. So now what can Denifil do? One of the most experienced men on the hill and in the competition today, at the age of 34, from the Austrian Tyrol, the Innsbruck Bergisel Club. Well, you see the activity with his arms throughout the flight phase, but the distance here will really help Austria too. 119, so 3 meters of bonus points. So that's 4.5 points of bonus. And it's 2 seconds per point, so it's about 9 seconds gain there, and 18 is the deficit at the moment, so that's okay. And now one of the finds of the season, this is Jarl Magnus Rieber, only 17, a podium early on in the season in Seefeld, first ever elite podium, and that's pretty good as well. And the junior world champion of this season, Rieber, a name for your notebook for the 2016 campaign, surely. Ribert. This is really nicely done. There's a real stiff deduction, star marks wise, from the Slovenian judges, taking him down to 16. I think is a little harsh by my reckoning, but nonetheless, Ribert keeping Norway too very much prominent, and Manuel Feist now for Germany too. Couple of meters short of the calculation line. Ribert, by the way, right on 120, so good bonus points for him. And this is going to be catch up for Germany too here. Skis not even, and instability on the support leg. Well, that's what I can't quite understand. He's got star marks of 16.5 to 17. That's why I thought that skinny 16 was a little inappropriate, shall I say, for Ribert. Estonia. Well, they have to make their own marks and their own progression targets. Front wind just softened a little bit. Interesting, the wind actually blowing as you look at the jumpers on the bar from your left to their right, which is not where the wind net is actually protecting. It usually comes off the lake. It's on the right hand side of your picture, and this is sub 100. Marjan Jelenko will be next for Slovenia. The Slovenians, Jelenko and Berlo, who were 10th in the World Championships, and 10th represented a deficit of something like 3.5 minutes behind Bro and Lamy Chapuis for France. Now that's looking to be the best part of 10 meters short of the calculation line. 104, yeah it is, it's actually 12 meters short. Uneven skis, and I could see 1 or 2 15s appearing here for that, and Jelenko 2:22 behind. So Finland now, this is Eero Hirvonen, not a man we've seen a great deal of. He was 33rd in the individual competition yesterday, so just missed out on some first ever World Cup points. He went to the Junior Worlds. He was 15th behind Ribert of Norway. But of course the Finns very much in regrouping and trying to bring their juniors through. Whether they'll be through by 2017, they obviously hope so for the Senior Worlds. 19 from Ovaskila, and there is promise, because in World Cup B, the graduating competition, a runners-up performance in Klingenthal this season, plus another couple of top 10 positions. So the tunnel may be long and the light may be distant, but the possibility is there. Now Miroslav Dvorak for the Czech Republic. Now, a decent performance by Thomas Portik over the calculation line in the first round, 116.5 meters. Now, if Dvorak can actually produce something on the hill, which doesn't always happen, only 106 meters in the trial round. And the gate, what are we doing? We're going down. What are we doing? Seems to be some indecision here. You can see the Hill team there with their Lahti 2017 jackets and trousers.
Unfortunately, you're the last jumpers to come down here, so somebody has
Team 7, of course, is Norway 2, and Norway 2, that's Jan Schmidt and his partner Jan Riber. They are your current leaders, and now Dvorak. And I think we're still on gate 12 after all of that. Oh, not too bad. Now, they won't be in front of the Norwegians, but how far behind will they be? 109.5. Cross country, the better suit for Dvorak. And where's that going to put him? 56 seconds. So actually at the moment that puts them in the mix. And Dvorak, who very early in the season achieved his fourth actually, third place finish in the Elite World Cup at Kuusamo, at Ruka, right at the beginning of this season's World Cup campaign. Taylor Fletcher, poor. Can do better, should do better. Taylor Fletcher, a second podium for him. He produced one in Sapporo, fifth in Genève. And his season not quite as strong as it was back in 2013 when he ranked overall 16th. At the moment he's currently ranked 26th, the younger of the brothers. And now the amazing Mr. Pittin. Well, you almost think that, it doesn't really matter what happens here. Whatever the deficit is, Pittin will overcome it. Not so easy in this team sprint. And he's a couple of meters short of the calculation line. Mind you, that is hugely better than the trial round when he was sub 100. Now, add his and Armin Bauer's efforts together. And now, where's this going to leave them? A bit to do. 2:14. Well, Armin Bauer, his partner, is not as competent across the trails as Alessandro Pittin. Now, Akito Watabe. Oh, and that is a mess. Akito was partnered at the World Championships by brother Yoshito. Today, Akito Watabe is working with Kato, and this is going to be a big task for these two. They're finding conditions on the hill with this wind coming from the far side, as you look at that picture, quite tricky. But there are a lot of under or subpar performances. 58 seconds. And now the world champion, the Lahti weekend, the Trondheim visit, the Oslo finale, and then off to Southampton to get his pilot's license. Oh, very good by Jason. Jason, the World Cup champion in 2010, 2011 and 2012. And when you look at his career, well, what hasn't he won, really? 28 years of age from Bois-d'Amont, that little village that sits on the Transurian long distance race. and 57 seconds. So the Japanese and the French are separated by just a second behind Norway 2. And now Lucas Klapfer. Bieler, 117 metres, his partner on the first leg, and Klapfer, yeah, and he's into bonus point territory, so this really gives Austria a chance to run. Well, 1:15, it's a metre shy. Star judges have been incredibly strict, but I have to say, apart from one or two odd marks, which I would have an issue with, I think they've been on the money. We haven't really seen the precision and elegance. And Klapper now. Austria must be in striking distance. 37 seconds they are. Only 37 behind Norway 2. Couple to go, and now the man who was the best on the hill yesterday, Horvath Clemenson, didn't take his trial round, saved his energy for this moment. Prudent. Look at that. Completely out-jumps everybody. And that's going towards the hill size of 128.5 metres. And Clemenson, well, he really makes up for Magnus Krog's modest effort in the first leg there, and pulls Norway 1 back into contention. Clemenson, who finished 6th yesterday, got wound in. And of course, a bronze medalist with Magnus Moen at the World Championships last week. In fact, last Saturday. And 57. Oh, so Norway 1, France 1, Japan 1, all running together. And it's Johannes Ridsek to bring this to a conclusion. World silver medalist. And he's got a few bonus points, but nothing like the distance that Clemenson produced. So Ronnie Ackermann and the German coaching team looking a little bit concerned here. Fabian Riesel was only 30 seconds off. And Germany will be in this mix. Germany 1 as well. So you've got Norway 2 and Japan 1. The Czechs are also involved. So Ridsek, 53 seconds. So as you'll see momentarily, what a good cross-country race in prospect. This is really tight. And it's going to be really interesting to see who makes the break. Now, have a look at this. So Norway 2 lead, plus 37. Then Austria are behind. Japan 2, France 2, Germany 1. Look at the Czech Republic, and the first 8 teams, first 9 teams, all the top 10 within a minute. Make that 11 teams within a minute, and you'll be able to see the decisive finale of this team sprint at 1:15 Central European time on Eurosport 2. Time for us to take our leave and go to Garmisch-Partenkirchen. For myself, David Goldstrom, thanks for your company. Bye for now.